I'm welcoming new energy in, and I'm releasing my book slump. And I hope the book haul will help. Cheers. This is also for you, for anyone who's been in a book slump. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this new book haul. The books that you see behind me are all the books that I bought recently, and as you guys probably know already, I am in a huge book slump, and I think one of the techniques that usually help me is buying new books, which is not very sustainable actually. Also, I'm very happy and grateful that I'm able to buy all of those books. There's like a lot of changes happening in my personal life, and I think my reading really reflects what I'm going through. Because of that, I wanted to read something that applies to my current state in life, and also a little bit of changes into my reading habits, because again, I want to challenge myself and I want to step out of my comfort zone, and also there's like few releases that I wanted to purchase. With that being said, let's get started with the first little pile. So one of my goals in the past few years, it has been reading or getting into classics. Those are some of the classics that I bought. The first is, I guess it's considered a modern classic, but I've already talked about this book. It's the To Kill a Mockingbird. It's very known. A lot of people know it already, of course, but I recently watched Justice, I don't know, Mercy. It's with Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan. The movie takes place in the same town that To Kill a Mockingbird takes place as well. And this is about a black man that was wrongly accused of a murder, and right now he's in jail. And basically they are trying to get him out, and this takes place in the south of the United States. I'm really excited. It's not an exciting read, but I think it's an important one, and I'm honestly really looking forward to reading this, because it's honestly one of the stories that I constantly watch and I think are important that people are aware of them. And To Kill a Mockingbird has been one of the books that I've been hearing for so long, so yeah, I'm very, I guess, excited. I don't know, again, like, it's weird to be excited to read a book like this, because unfortunately things like this happened and also now, so yeah, but I'm looking forward to reading this, and I will let you guys know what I think. Okay, next, I was searching for books that kind of inspired or sparked back some light, because I feel like I kind of lost some light. I don't know what is happening, but I've been into a little bit of a depressing episode. I haven't been doing very well mentally because of anything really happening. I'm just like being in a very big slump in general in my life, and that kind of brings a little bit of a, depression. And I've been looking forward into reading stories that kind of spark a little bit of inspiration, motivation, and things like that. So one of them is The Little Prince. This is actually a child book, but I never read it when I was little, and I really, I don't know why, but I've been wanting to read The Little Prince, and it's been kind of a calling, and I've been hearing a lot of people talking about it. So, those things, like, I really do believe in destiny and like the universe sending a message and stuff, and I don't know, I feel like it is time for me to read The Little Prince. It's a very short book, and it's like a child's book, so I'm honestly really excited to read it, because again, I have no idea what it talks about, and yeah, I'm excited. Okay, another book that I actually already watched the movie of, but it has been a long time ever since I've watched the movie, so I'm excited to read the book and then rewatch the movie. But it's Dead Poets Society once again. I think this is considered a classic. I'm not really sure actually. I'm gonna confirm it on screen, but I love the movie. It's with Robin Williams. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. Like, whenever I see him on screen, he just sparks so much passion and so much I don't know, his energy is just so delightful to watch, if that makes sense. Again, it's a story that I already know, but it's also very inspiring. So the next book is none other than The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I am really excited for this one, and I was not planning to get this one. I have one specific classic that I'm really looking forward to, and I've talked about it multiple times, but it's an American classic. And I recently watched one of Jack Edwards' videos about what is the great American classic, and obviously he mentioned The Great Gatsby, and I was really annoyed that I did not know why. I didn't know the reason because I didn't have the chance to read it when I was in school, and I want to read it right now because I want to know why it is considered a great American classic. With that being said, I also have not watched the movie. I actually watched like a bit and then I turned it off because I want to read the book first and then watch the movie. And then lastly, the main classic that I personally am so excited to read, and I've been wanting to read it for years and years and years, and again I never did, but it's none other than The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. In Italy we have different type of high schools, and I did like the linguistics, so by the third year of high school you start learning the literature of each country, for example England for English, in its own language, and we studied Oscar Wilde and the aestheticism, I believe. Yeah, I think it's the aestheticism, which is the movement that actually started with Oscar Wilde, I believe. I remember that he either started it or he was like the main author to guide it, kind of, and I was really fascinated by this, the whole movement, and just like Oscar Wilde as an author and as a person and his story, and even at the time like he was such like a blueprint for a lot of things that came after. So I'm really excited for this one. I've always been really fascinated by this classic, this book. So, and then let's move on with the next book. Some new releases, some books that I've been really looking forward to read, and some of them that kind of reflects what I'm going through at the moment. Speaking of, I Who Have Never Known Men by Jaqueline Harpman. So I'm gonna try to read you the synopsis of this book because honestly I have no idea what it talks about, but I was again researching for some bouks that kind of like talked about women being lost in their 20s or like being lost in life in general, and this popped up multiple times, so I bought it for that reason. For a very long time, the days went by, each just like the day before. Then I began to think, and everything changed. Deep underground, 39 women live imprisoned in a cage. Watched over by guards, those women have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and only vague recollection of their lives before. As the burn of electric light merges day into night and numberless years pass, a young girl, the 48th prisoner, sits alone and outcast in the corner, but soon she will show herself to be the key to the others' escape and survival in the strange world that awaits them above. That was not what I was expecting. I think it's going to be really interesting as a whole, and I think there's a lot of messages because people have been recommending it non-stop if you're lost in your life and you want to kind of have some sort of, you know, push or inspiration. So I think that is kind of like the overall message, or at least like there's gonna be some messages like that in the book. But I'm very excited. Definitely not what I was expecting, but I'm excited to read it. Next book, I actually got this in Vienna at the Shakespeare and Company bookstore in Vienna, so that is nice. I wish they put the stamp on the book like the one in Paris, but unfortunately they didn't do that. But anyways, I will forever remember that I got it there, and the experience of just like entering the bookstore. I love Shakespeare and Co. I think it's so cool. But anyways, the book that I'm talking about is Tuesdays with Murray, An Old Man, a Young Man, and a Life's Greatest Lesson by Mitch Albom. I actually started it a little bit, and for what I've gathered, this is basically literally like Tuesdays with Murray. Murray is, I believe, a teacher, or at least like a university teacher, and every Tuesday in his lesson he teaches new things about life in general. So I do believe that this is going to be very heartbreaking at one point, but I recently saw a lot of people actually picking it up and reading it, and it has been like one of the favorite reads of the year, so I'm really excited to read it. I think it's what I've been looking for, so I'm really looking forward to reading this book. So the next book is actually a romance and is a passion project, but it could also be considered a woman's fiction with a romance plot as well. Always like keeping kind of on theme with what is going on in my life. Let me just read you the synopsis. This is also set in New York City, so that's also very exciting. So Bennett Taylor should be living the best years of her life, and she's failing miserably. Emphasis on miserable. Adrift in New York City, she has no direction and no energy to find one. When Bennett is set up on a first date with Henry Adams, she, drunk early, confesses that she's not ready to love again. In fact, she doesn't feel passion for anything, not pottery, not sports, nothing. Irrepressibly adventurous, Harry offers to help uncover her passion for life. Every Saturday, they'll try a new activity as friends, of course. Their passion projects find them sampling, photography, tattooing. When secrets surface, Bennett finally has to face the grief that's holding her back. With tenderness and electric banter, Passion Project is a story of finding a spark and igniting happiness. Well, that is definitely needed in my life at the moment. I definitely need something like this because I do myself feel not just lost, but just like I need my spark back. So this is really exciting and I'm really excited to read it. It sounds incredible and it kind of gives what I need at the moment, which is inspiration and a little bit of spark. The next book is actually a little novella. I think it's considered a novella, but or a short story nonetheless, by Frederik Backman. This is And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. I'm going to read you the synopsis because I don't want to get it wrong. Grandpa and Noah are sitting on a bench in a square that keeps getting smaller every day. The square is strange but also familiar, full of the odds and ends that have made up their lives. Grandpa's work desk, the stuffed dragon that Grandpa once gave to Noah, the sweet smelling I don't know, I think it's a plant that Grandma loved to grow in her garden. Yes, I think it's a plant. As they wait together on the bench, they tell jokes and discuss their shared love for mathematics. Grandpa recalls what it's like to fall in love with his wife, what it's like to lose her. She's as real to him now as the first day he met her, but he dreads the day when he won't remember her. Oh my god, I'm gonna sob. I already know it. Sometimes Grandpa sits on the bench next to Ted, Noah's father. Ted, who's never liked math, prefers writing and playing the guitar, and has waited his entire life for his father to have time for him, to accept him. Oh my god, I'm gonna sob. But in their love of Noah, they have found a common bond. Grandpa and Grandma, Ted and Noah all meet here, in this particular space that is growing dimmer and more confusing all the time. And here is where they will learn to say goodbye, the scent of the plant in the air with nothing to fear. I literally want to cry right now, so I cannot even imagine what this book is going to do to me. Well, yeah, I love this. I love this kind of stories. I'm such a nostalgic person, and I'm so attached to just the entire idea of nostalgia. I think it's beautiful. I think it is super powerful. I think it's also, I think, the driving force for a lot of people, me included. I think the past in general is so precious, and we should all learn from the people who have lived before us. And I think listening to just elderly people is such a powerful thing to do. Sometimes, obviously, you might have some disagreements because time passes, people change, the world changes, our society changes, but at the same time, at the core, we're kind of all the same, and we've all had our own desires. So I think just conversations like this between a young generation and an older generation is just so powerful. And I love that it also talks about the relationship between the father that is really different from Noah's father and the grandpa, so his father, and also just the dynamic of the grandpa and the grandson being so similar. So I don't know, I think it's going to be really great. And again, I never read anything by Frederik Backman, and I really want to get into his books. So I think this is a good start because it's a novella, or a short story. I don't know what's the difference. Is it the same thing? I probably should know that. This is a new release by Annabel Monaghan. It's a love story. This year I read Summer Romance by Annabel Monaghan, and I really liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. I was really interested in this book because, I don't know, I've seen it multiple times that she does in the film industry, that take place in the film industry, and I want to be in the film industry at one point in my life, so I think it's super fun that we're following that. And basically, Jane Jackson, she is a studio executive, and she's trying to create a new project, and that this project is greenlit, so that is going to be produced. I love when the main characters have a career in the arts or the entertainment industry. I think it's so fascinating. I'm so fascinated by the world in general, so I'm really excited to read it. Okay, the next book, I'm actually really excited. This also is a romance, and it's called Red String Theory by Lauren Kwong Jessen. I recently found out what the red string theory is, and I am super fascinated by that, and I hope that I have a red string with someone. I love romance books that generally make me feel that the two were meant to be together, that they're soulmates and they're connected on a soul level, on a spiritual level. I love that. I obviously wish it happens to me, but in the meantime, I'm gonna read an book. As I said, I recently discovered what the red string theory is, and I was trying to find if there was some romance books that gave that vibe, and this is basically the red string theory. And I do believe it's from Chinese legend. It's a Chinese legend, and I think the author is Chinese as well, so I love that there's Chinese culture as well, and I hope there is, at least. I don't know, I'm not really sure, but I hope there is. And yeah, so I'm very excited for this one. And oh, it's actually set in New York. Okay, I'm gonna read you the synopsis because I have not really heard a lot of this book, so you guys might be interested into purchasing or reading it as well. So when it comes to love and art, Rooney Gu believes in signs. Most of all, she believes in the Chinese legend that everyone is tied to their one true love by the red string of fate. That belief has inspired her career and large art installations she makes. This is until artist block strikes and Rooney begins to question everything. But then fates lead her to the perfect guy. Jaqueline is absurdly smart, successful, handsome. After one enchanting New York night, all signs point to destiny. Only Jack doesn't believe in such a thing, and after the magical date, it looks like they might be lost to each other's forever until they're given one more chance to reconnect. But can Rooney convince a reluctant skeptic to take a leap of faith? So I don't know if you guys watched Serendipity, the movie. That's kind of the same vibe. I have not watched it yet, but I really want to watch it. And like I know about that movie and what it talks about and what the plot is. So basically they meet multiple times and then after decide to be together. That's basically the whole point of the red string theory, and I'm so excited for this book. So yeah, I hope I'm gonna like it because the vibes and just like the theory in general really, again, sparks my interest. So I was looking forward to that book. The next book is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grows. I know that this book is gonna break my heart, and I've been wanting to purchase this book for so long, but I'm so scared to read it. This is a story about Syria, the country, and there's like some characters in it that play a big part on kind of like letting you know and let us know what happened in Syria and like the situation in Syria. And I know that this is going to be a painful read. I think it's really important to read about the Middle East by Middle Easterns because the media cannot be trusted. I mean, we've all seen what is happening and how certain topics are dealt. So I think it's really important to shine on those type of stories and talk about those stories because they are people like us, and just because we were born in a better side of the world, or I guess like a safer side of the world, that doesn't mean that we need to forget about all the other people that are suffering. And it's also our responsibility because they're suffering because of our governments most of the time. So I'm very excited for this one, and I've heard amazing things about this book, so I'm very excited to read it. And yeah, I think you should read it too, by the way, even though I haven't, but I think you should. Okay, next up, I'm super excited for this one. If you watched my recent video of my my ISTBR, you've already seen this book, but this is none other One Golden Summer. I've seen this book everywhere, guys. Like, it's honestly, I felt such a big FOMO that I literally started the first book because this is part of a series. You don't have to read the first book, but it's highly recommended to read the first book first because it talks about two brothers. The first book is about one and the second one and this one is about another. So there are stories that are connected. So in order to understand better this book, it is advised to read the first one, which is Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. But One Golden Summer, first of all, this is one of the best covers I own. I love the blue and yellow paired together. I don't know why, but it just like does something to me. I'm super excited to read this one. I think this is gonna be one of my last summer reads for this year, so I'm excited to grasp as much as possible because fall is coming soon. I'm sorry, but I'm very excited. I'm super excited for fall, you guys. Like, can you, like, we're in August, meaning that next month is fall. Next month, it's gonna be fall. Next up, we have May Luna. May Luna is a rock band of the 90s, and it basically talks about this woman, Evie. Her grown children discover an iconic photo in an old magazine of a mystery girl with Carter, who is, I think, the main guy of the band. And basically she tells the story of how they met and all the story of them falling in love. So I think it's really interesting. I think it's cute, and if you love Daisy Jones and the Six, it's kind of, I guess like it kind of is the same vibe, even though it's set in the 90s and not the 70s. But I love this little things like this. I think they're very I don't know, they're very fascinating. Once again, I love talks about like music or art, and I love when those are incorporated in a book or like are a theme in the book. So I'm very excited for this one, and I've heard really great things about this book as well. Okay, next is actually a new release that I've been waiting for a little bit. I have never read anything by this author, so I'm really excited for this one. This is Bewitching. Speaking of fall, This is a perfect fall read. I'm so excited. Oh my god. So there's like mystery, a little bit of gothic, a little bit of witchy. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And it also takes place in a campus, so it might give a little bit of dark academic vibes, but I don't want to say it. But it sounds incredible, so I'm super excited to read this in the fall time. Perfect. And I'm really excited just like to get to know this author. Her name is Silvia Moreno Garcia, and again, she's the author of Mexican Gothic. This is a very, very famous and well-known. So if I like this one, I will definitely try the other one. Then next book is none other, the new book by Riley Sager, With a Vengeance. So I read the synopsis of this book, and it really, really gives the Orient Express. Oh my gosh, okay. Give me a sec here. Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I've watched the movie, have not read the book, but I know the vibe of that one. So in 1942, 6 people destroyed Anna's family. 12 years later, she's ready for retribution. So basically, those 6 people have done something to her family, and she gathers all of them in this train, and she plans to take vengeance for her family. But then one person ends up dead, and so Anna is like, oh, so there's another person here that has a second agenda, and basically they need to find out what is happening. But this is such a good like preface, and if you love the Orient Express, I obviously think that this is right up your alley. And Riley Sager is always that kind of author that, I don't know, I read one book by him and it was crazy. I did not expect that from his book and like the ending of the book. So I'm really excited to see what he did with this one. Yeah, I think he's a very interesting author. I'm very excited for this. Next up is also one of my jewels. I love this author so much. It's by Rachel Gilling, and this is The Night and the Moth. This is her new release, and I don't know what it is about really. So Sibyl Dilling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. She's a diviner. In her dreams, she receives vision from 6 unearthly figures known as omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folks alike travel across the kingdoms of Troms, Winspet Moors, to learn the futures by her dreams. Okay, so she is the same author as the Shepherd King duology. So if you probably know the first book, which is Winter Window. She's the same author, and my favorite things about her book, I've only read the first one, but I love the magic system. It's one of my favorite magic system I've ever read, and I think by the synopsis, or like the start of the synopsis of this book, she's so creative with her world and magic systems. So I'm really, really excited to read. I've heard really great things. That's why I wanted to get it. Then next up is also a new release, and is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab. I never read anything by V. Schwab. I'm looking forward to read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I've talked about it so many times on this channel. This is her new release, and it's really interesting. I think there's vampires involved. In the story, we follow 3 different people, I guess like women, that are in 3 different times. One is in 1532 Santo Domingo de la Calzada. The other one is 1827 London, and then the third one is 2019 Boston. So I think this is really interesting, and I'm very curious to see how those tied up together. And it's about vampires. I believe it is. Literally at the end of the synopsis it says, and all of them grow teeth. So I'm pretty sure that it's about vampires, and I've never read a book about vampires. I've read Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, and there are vampires in there, but it's not like the main plot. So I'm very, very excited to read something like it. And again, like, V. Schwab is so creative. Their authors, I mean, their job is to be creative, but you know, sometimes you kind of read this kind of the same things and stuff, but I don't know, the 3 timelines, 3 locations, 3 different stories, I think that is really, really, really fascinating. So okay, next up is also another new release, and it's the new release by Frederik, Backman, my friend. I've heard really, really great things. I've heard so many people talking about it, and it sounds something that I will like. I'm not really sure what it is about. I'm excited to find out. Honestly, I don't. With Frederik Backman, he's the kind of author that I just sense the feeling that I shouldn't know what I'm up for when I start a book of his. Like, I don't know why. I just have this feeling that he's the type of author that I just have to go in blind, and he will surprise me somehow. So lastly, I have a fantasy that I am so excited about because I've been wanting to find, so I'm an astrology girly. I love astrology. I have such a big passion with astrology. It literally follows me everywhere. I think about it all the time. It's one of my biggest passions, and yeah, so I've always wondered, like, if I was an author, specifically if I was a fantasy author, I think like doing a fantasy with like zodiac signs it's so interesting. And I know about Zodiac Academy, but I'm not really interested into reading that one because it's just so long. So I found one that seems a book that sounds exactly what I'm looking for, and this is Heavenly Bodies by Imani Erayu. Guys, oh my god, every time that I have to pronounce names and last names I'm terrified. Like, I hate it because I have a complicated last name. Sometimes like I'm salty when people don't pronounce my last name correctly, so it's really annoying. I know, I'm sorry, but I'm also dyslexic, so, and English is not my first language, so sometimes I have some troubles with that, okay? Anyway, Heavenly Bodies. First of all, look at this book and how beautiful it is. Look at the inside, and I don't know, without the dust, oh, that's pretty, oh, whatever. Very plain. Anyways, I'm really excited for this one. Let me read you something. I think this is a romantasy, by the way. You know the most dangerous kind of villain? A woman with nothing left to lose. In a world ruled by stars, cruel gods, Elara has been cursed by fate. Prophecy promises she will fall for a star, but it will kill them both. When the star of wrath and war descends to hunt Elara, the neighboring kingdom sees an opportunity to take her form and home the kingdom of night to Elias, the kingdom of light. I think if you read The Celestial Kingdom, it's kind of like the same, the worlds sound a little bit similar. I'm not really sure, at least like it is a similar vibe. So I'm very excited for this one. I think, again, it's right up my alley. It's a type of fantasy that I'm super looking forward to reading because I love stars, I love astrology, and yeah, so I'm excited for this one as well. This is not safe. Those are all the books that I got. They're actually quite a lot, but I'm very excited for my new reads, and I'm really excited to dive into some of the books. I'm really excited to challenge myself a little bit with the classics or some books that I've been looking forward to reading, and yeah, just like bringing some depth into my life, and as well as the new releases. I'm very excited to find out what they're all about. I think like this year, it's been the year of new releases. Like, there's so many books coming out, it's actually hard to keep up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like this video if you liked it, and if you like the vibe, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.